Imagine standing at the crossroads of your life, where every choice you make today can lead to either lasting fulfillment or deep regret. This video isn't just another self-help guide, it's a blueprint for transformation, inspired by the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. These 7 Stoic lessons will help you seize control, overcome life's challenges, and build a future where you don't just survive, but truly thrive. Let me share a story of a man who once stood where you are now. John was an ordinary person, caught in the daily grind, feeling like life was slipping through his fingers. He was overwhelmed by stress, indecision, and a constant sense of inadequacy. But then, he discovered the teachings of Marcus Aurelius. By applying these ancient principles, John began to reclaim his life, one step at a time. He learned to control his emotions, make better decisions, and find peace amidst the chaos. Today, John is not just surviving, he's thriving, with a clear purpose and a sense of fulfillment he never thought possible. Consider this video your stepping stone to the life you've always wanted but never knew how to achieve. If John could turn his life around, so can you. Let Marcus Aurelius guide you on this journey to becoming the best version of yourself. 1. Control your perceptions. Your reality is shaped by how you perceive it. Learn to see things as they are, not as you wish them to be. Imagine waking up on a day when everything seems to go wrong. Your alarm doesn't go off, you're late for work, and you spill coffee on your favorite shirt. Frustration boils inside you, and you think to yourself, why does this always happen to me? It feels like the universe is conspiring against you, pushing you further into a bad day. But what if I told you that the true source of your misery isn't the external events, but rather how you perceive them? Let me take you back to ancient Rome, where I, Marcus Aurelius, faced challenges far greater than a spilled drink or a missed alarm. As the emperor, every decision I made could lead to the rise or fall of the empire. Yet, I learned that the key to maintaining peace amidst chaos was mastering my perceptions. When the empire was under threat, when betrayal lurked in the Senate, and when the weight of the crown felt too heavy to bear, I would remind myself, it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Consider the story of a young Roman soldier named Lucius. He was brave and skilled, but he had a flaw: he let his emotions cloud his judgment. One day, during a crucial battle, Lucius was tasked with leading a small unit to flank the enemy. As they advanced, a sudden storm rolled in, drenching the soldiers and making the ground slippery and treacherous. Lucius, overwhelmed by the unexpected turn of events, became frustrated and lost focus. His men, sensing his panic, hesitated, and their attack faltered. The enemy seized the opportunity, and the battle was lost. Lucius returned to camp, ashamed and defeated. He sought my counsel, expecting harsh criticism. But instead, I told him, Lucius, the storm was not your enemy. It was your perception of the storm that defeated you. You saw the rain and mud as obstacles, but they were simply conditions to navigate. The true battle was within your mind, and that is where you were defeated. Lucius learned that day that our perceptions shape our reality. He began to train not just his body, but his mind. In time, he became one of Rome's finest commanders, known not for his brute strength, but for his calmness under pressure. He learned to see things as they were, not as his fears or frustrations painted them to be. Now, let me bring you back to your own life. How often do you let small setbacks ruin your day? How often do you blow things out of proportion, convincing yourself that a minor inconvenience is a catastrophe? The truth is, most of the suffering we experience is self-inflicted. We create stories in our minds, stories that amplify our pain, heighten our fears, and turn us against ourselves. The Stoics teach us that perception is a choice. You can choose to see the spilled coffee as a minor inconvenience, a small hiccup in an otherwise fine day. Or you can choose to see it as a sign that the day is ruined, spiraling into negativity. The choice is yours, and it will determine the quality of your life. But changing your perceptions is no easy task. It requires practice, discipline, and a constant awareness of your thoughts. When faced with a challenge, ask yourself, am I seeing this situation as it truly is, or am I letting my emotions distort my view? Remember, your perception is your reality. If you change how you see the world, you change your world. Let's consider another example. Imagine you're at work, and a colleague receives praise for a project you contributed to. Instead of feeling satisfied with the recognition of the team's success, you feel resentment and envy. You think, why didn't they praise me directly? I did just as much work. This is a common trap, one that leads to unnecessary conflict and unhappiness. The Stoic approach would be to step back and see the situation objectively. The project was successful, and that's what matters. Praise and recognition are external, they don't define your worth. By controlling your perception, you can avoid the destructive emotions of envy and insecurity. In your personal relationships, controlling your perceptions is equally vital. How often have you misinterpreted a friend's words or actions, assuming malice where there was none? We all have moments of insecurity, where we perceive slights that don't exist. These misperceptions can lead to unnecessary arguments, fractured relationships, and lingering resentment. By training yourself to perceive situations more clearly, you can maintain harmony in your relationships and avoid the pitfalls of misunderstanding. As you go through life, remember that you hold the power to shape your reality. It's not the events themselves, but how you interpret them that matters. When faced with adversity, remind yourself to see things as they are, not as your emotions would have you see them. By mastering your perceptions, you gain control over your life, your happiness, and your destiny. So, the next time you're faced with a challenge, whether it's a bad day at work, a difficult conversation, or an unexpected setback, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, how am I perceiving this situation? Am I seeing it clearly, or through a lens of fear, frustration, or insecurity? Remember, you have the power to choose your perception, and in doing so, you choose your reality. Let Marcus Aurelius' wisdom guide you in this practice. As I have learned in my own life, and as I have taught others like Lucius, mastering your perceptions is the first step to mastering your life. With practice and perseverance, you too can see the world as it truly is, and not as your fears would have you see it. And in that clarity, you will find the strength, peace, and resilience to face whatever life throws your way. To embrace change, life is in constant flux. Accept and adapt to change, rather than resisting it. Change is the only constant in life. Yet, how often do we find ourselves resisting it, clinging to the familiar, even when it no longer serves us? Consider this: you wake up one morning to find that your job, the one you've held for years, is no longer available. The company is downsizing, and you're left without a source of income. Panic sets in. What will you do now? How will you survive? It feels like your world is collapsing, and the future looks uncertain and terrifying. But let me tell you a story from the past, from the time of ancient Rome. I, Marcus Aurelius, was no stranger to change. As the ruler of an empire, I saw countless shifts in power, fortunes, and the very fabric of society. The tides of war, the rise and fall of allies, and the constant threat of betrayal were ever present. It would have been easy to resist these changes, to try to hold on to the stability of yesterday. But I learned that true strength lies not in resisting change, but in embracing it. Consider the tale of a merchant named Tiberius. He was once one of Rome's most successful traders, known for his fine silks and exotic spices. His business flourished, and he enjoyed a life of wealth and comfort. But one year, a great fire swept through the marketplace, destroying his entire stock. Overnight, Tiberius went from wealth to ruin. He could have succumbed to despair, lamenting the loss of his former life. But instead, he chose a different path. Tiberius understood that life is in constant flux, and that clinging to the past would only bring suffering. So, he adapted. He took what little savings he had left and began trading in a new commodity, olive oil. It was a risky venture, but Tiberius knew that to survive, he had to evolve. Over time, his new business grew, and he became even more successful than before. Tiberius thrived not because he resisted change, but because he embraced it. This lesson is as relevant today as it was in ancient Rome. Life will always throw unexpected challenges our way. The loss of a job, the end of a relationship, or a sudden health crisis can leave us feeling lost and vulnerable. Our instinct may be to resist these changes, to fight against the new reality in an attempt to hold on to what we know. But resistance only leads to suffering. Imagine you're navigating a river. If you fight against the current, you exhaust yourself and make no progress. But if you learn to move with the flow, you conserve your energy and find your way to calmer waters. Life is much the same. The currents of change are beyond our control, but how we navigate them is up to us. We can resist and struggle, or we can accept and adapt. Think about the changes in your own life. Perhaps you've recently faced a significant loss or an unexpected shift in circumstances. How did you respond? Did you cling to the past, hoping to restore what once was? Or did you find a way to move forward, to adapt and grow in the face of adversity? The Stoics teach us that change is not something to be feared, but something to be welcomed. It is through change that we grow, that we discover new strengths and opportunities. In my own life, I've seen how resisting change leads to stagnation, while embracing it opens doors to new possibilities. When I was called to lead the empire, it was not a role I sought. I was content with my life as a philosopher, studying and reflecting on the nature of existence. But the responsibilities of leadership were thrust upon me, and I had a choice, to resist this change, or to embrace it. I chose the latter, and in doing so, I found a new path, one that allowed me to serve Rome and its people in ways I had never imagined. The same is true for you. When life presents you with a change, whether it's a new job, a move to a different city, or a shift in your personal relationships, don't resist it. Instead, see it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become stronger. Embrace the uncertainty, for it is within the unknown that we find our true potential. Let me offer you another perspective. Picture a tree in a storm. The rigid branches that resist the wind are the first to break, while the flexible ones bend and sway, adapting to the forces around them. These flexible branches survive the storm because they embrace the change rather than fight against it. You must be like those branches, flexible, resilient, and willing to adapt to whatever life throws your way. As you move forward, remember that change is inevitable. You cannot control the external forces that shape your life, but you can control how you respond to them. Embrace change, and you will find that what once seemed like a daunting challenge is actually an opportunity in disguise. By adapting to the shifting circumstances, you will not only survive but thrive, much like Tiberius did after his life was turned upside down. Let Marcus Aurelius' wisdom guide you on this journey. Life is in constant flux, and the sooner you learn to accept and adapt to change, the more resilient and successful you will become. Embrace the changes in your life as opportunities to grow, to evolve, and to discover new aspects of yourself. In doing so, you will find a strength and a peace that can weather any storm. 3. Focus on what you can control, direct your energy toward what you can change, and let go of what you cannot. There is a certain peace that comes from understanding the limits of your power. We live in a world that is full of uncertainties, wars, natural disasters, economic downturns, and even the daily challenges of personal life. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, like a small boat tossed about on a stormy sea. But what if I told you that the key to tranquility lies not in trying to control the uncontrollable, but in focusing your energy on what you can actually influence? Allow me to take you back to the time of my reign as Emperor of Rome. The empire was vast, stretching across continents, and with it came countless problems. The barbarians threatened our borders, the economy faced instability, and within the Senate, betrayal and conspiracy brewed. It would have been impossible for one man to control all these forces. But I learned, through experience and reflection, that my power was not in controlling the external world, but in governing my own mind and actions. Let me tell you the story of Caius, a loyal servant of the empire who struggled with this very lesson. Caius was an ambitious young man, eager to rise through the ranks of the Roman military. He was diligent, disciplined, and full of ideas to improve the empire's defenses. But despite his best efforts, he often found himself frustrated. He would spend sleepless nights worrying about the actions of his superiors, the decisions of the Senate, and the unpredictable nature of war. His anxiety grew as he realized that many of the outcomes he feared were beyond his control. One day, Caius sought my counsel, burdened by the weight of his worries. "Emperor," he said, "I strive to be the best soldier I can be, yet I feel helpless against the forces that shape our fate. How can I protect Rome if so much is beyond my control?" I looked at Caius and said, "Young soldier, you must understand that there are things within our power, and things beyond it. You cannot control the decisions of the Senate, the actions of your enemies, or the whims of fate. But you can control your own actions, your own thoughts, and how you respond to the challenges before you. Focus on what you can control, and let go of the rest." Caius took these words to heart. He began to shift his focus from the things he could not change, like the strategies of the enemy or the politics of the Senate, and instead concentrated on becoming the best leader he could be. He trained his men rigorously, ensuring they were prepared for any situation. He honed his skills, studied battle tactics, and led by example. Caius stopped wasting energy on worries and focused instead on his duty. In time, he rose to become one of Rome's greatest generals, not because he could control the tides of war, but because he mastered the art of controlling himself. This lesson is as relevant today as it was in ancient Rome. Think about your own life. How often do you find yourself consumed by worry over things you cannot change? Perhaps you stress over the economy, the actions of others, or the uncertainty of the future. But how much of this is truly within your control? The Stoics teach us that our true power lies in recognizing the limits of our influence and directing our energy toward what we can change. Imagine a farmer tending his fields. He cannot control the weather, the rain, the sun, or the storms that may come. But he can control how he prepares his land, the seeds he plants, and the care he gives to his crops. By focusing on what he can control, the farmer increases his chances of a good harvest, even in the face of uncertainty. In your personal life, this principle can be transformative. When faced with a difficult situation, ask yourself, what can I control in this moment? Perhaps you cannot change someone else's behavior, but you can control how you respond to it. You may not be able to alter the outcome of a situation, but you can control your effort, your attitude, and your actions. Letting go of what you cannot control is not about giving up or resigning yourself to fate. It's about freeing yourself from unnecessary suffering and focusing your energy on what truly matters. By doing so, you become more effective, more resilient, and ultimately, more at peace. Consider another example, a student preparing for an important exam. The student cannot control the difficulty of the test or the actions of other students. But they can control how much they study, how they manage their time, and how they approach the exam mentally. By focusing on what is within their control, the student maximizes their chances of success while minimizing anxiety over factors they cannot influence. As you move through life, remember that you hold the power to shape your reality by focusing on what you can control. This doesn't mean ignoring the challenges around you, but rather approaching them with a clear mind and a calm heart. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you free yourself from the chains of anxiety and open yourself to the possibilities that lie within your reach. Let Marcus Aurelius' wisdom guide you in this practice. Just as I, as emperor, could not control the vastness of the empire, you too cannot control every aspect of your life. But like Caius, you can choose to focus your energy on what you can change, your thoughts, your actions, and your responses. By doing so, you will find strength, peace, and the ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and wisdom. For act with purpose, every action should have a clear purpose. Avoid distractions and stay true to your goals. In the vast expanse of life, there is one truth that stands out: every action, no matter how small, should have a clear and deliberate purpose. Too often, we find ourselves swept up in the current of daily life, engaging in tasks and pursuits that, when examined closely, serve no meaningful end. We become distracted, pulled in countless directions, losing sight of the goals that truly matter. But if you wish to live a life of meaning and fulfillment, you must learn to act with purpose in everything you do. Let me share with you a story from ancient Rome, a story that serves as a timeless reminder of the importance of purposeful action. During my reign as emperor, there was a young scholar named Decimus. He was a man of great potential, possessing a sharp mind and a passion for philosophy. Decimus aspired to make a difference in the world, to leave a mark on the empire through his teachings and writings. But despite his talents, he struggled to achieve his goals. His days were filled with endless distractions, social gatherings, idle conversations, and the lure of fleeting pleasures. Decimus found himself busy, yet unfulfilled, constantly chasing after activities that seemed important in the moment but contributed little to his long-term vision. I looked at him and asked, "Decimus, what is your purpose? What is the goal that you hold above all others, the vision that drives you forward?" He paused, reflecting on his answer. "I wish to be a philosopher, to share wisdom and knowledge that will benefit others. But I am easily distracted, and my time is consumed by trivial pursuits." I nodded. "Then you must learn to act with purpose, to ensure that every action you take is aligned with your ultimate goal. Distractions will always be there, tempting you to stray from your path. But if you allow yourself to be pulled in every direction, you will never reach your destination. You must be deliberate in your choices, focused on what truly matters." Decimus took these words to heart. He began to examine his daily life with a critical eye, identifying the activities that served no real purpose and cutting them away. He declined invitations to frivolous gatherings, limited his time spent on idle chatter, and dedicated himself to his studies and writings. Each day, he asked himself, "Is this action bringing me closer to my goal, or is it merely a distraction?" By focusing his energy on purposeful actions, Decimus found a new sense of clarity and direction. His work flourished, and he became a respected philosopher, known throughout the empire for his wisdom and insight. This principle of acting with purpose is as essential today as it was in ancient Rome. In our modern world, distractions are more abundant than ever. The constant barrage of notifications, social media, and the endless stream of information can easily pull us away from our goals. It's easy to become busy, to fill our days with tasks that seem important in the moment but ultimately lead us nowhere. But if you want to achieve something meaningful, you must learn to focus on what truly matters and let go of the rest. Think about your own life. What are the distractions that pull you away from your goals? Perhaps it's the endless scrolling on your phone, the hours spent watching television, or the time spent on activities that do not align with your purpose. These distractions may provide temporary pleasure, but they do not move you closer to your vision of success. To live a life of purpose, you must be willing to make sacrifices, to say no to the things that do not serve your goals. Consider the example of a sculptor working on a masterpiece. The sculptor does not waste time chiseling away at the stone without a clear vision of what they wish to create. Each strike of the chisel is deliberate, guided by the image in their mind. The sculptor knows that every action, every choice, must be aligned with the ultimate goal of bringing the masterpiece to life. You must approach your life in the same way. Each action you take should be a deliberate step toward your goal, not a distraction that leads you astray. Acting with purpose also means being true to yourself and your values. It's easy to be swayed by the opinions and expectations of others, to pursue goals that are not truly your own. But when you act with purpose, you stay true to your vision, regardless of what others may think. You make choices that align with your values and bring you closer to your goals, even if it means going against the grain or facing criticism. As you move forward, remember that every action has the potential to bring you closer to your goals or to lead you away from them. The choice is yours. Will you allow yourself to be distracted by the noise of the world, or will you focus your energy on what truly matters? By acting with purpose, you will find that your life becomes more focused, more fulfilling, and ultimately, more successful. Let Marcus Aurelius' wisdom guide you in this practice. Life is too short to waste on trivial pursuits and distractions. Be deliberate in your actions, stay true to your goals, and ensure that every choice you make serves a clear and meaningful purpose. In doing so, you will find the strength and clarity to achieve greatness, just as Decimus did when he chose to act with purpose in every aspect of his life. 5. Cultivate resilience. Build the mental toughness to bounce back from setbacks and turn adversity into opportunity. In the face of adversity, the strength of a person's character is truly tested. Life is unpredictable, filled with challenges, obstacles, and setbacks that can shake us to our core. Yet, it is not the trials we face that define us, but how we respond to them. Resilience, the ability to endure hardship, to rise after falling, and to transform adversity into opportunity, is a virtue that every person must cultivate if they are to lead a meaningful and fulfilling life. Allow me to share with you a story from my time as emperor, a story that illustrates the power of resilience. In the heart of Rome, there was a soldier named Quintus, known for his bravery on the battlefield and his unwavering loyalty to the empire. But despite his courage, Quintus faced a devastating defeat during a campaign against a fierce enemy. His legion was ambushed, and many of his men were lost. Wounded and demoralized, Quintus returned to Rome, burdened by the weight of failure. He was haunted by the loss of his comrades and the sting of defeat, and he began to doubt his own worth as a soldier. One evening, Quintus came to me, seeking guidance. "Emperor," he said, "I have failed in my duty, and I do not know how to recover. The pain of this defeat consumes me, and I fear I may never again be the man I once was." I listened to his words and then replied, "Quintus, do not be defined by this setback. The true measure of a soldier, and indeed of any person, is not in never falling, but in rising each time they fall. Adversity is not the end, but a beginning, an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You must cultivate the mental toughness to overcome this challenge, to learn from it, and to emerge even more powerful." Quintus took my words to heart. He did not allow himself to be crushed by defeat. Instead, he saw it as a lesson, a chance to improve, to reflect on his mistakes, and to build the resilience needed to face future battles. He trained harder, learned new strategies, and inspired his men with a renewed sense of purpose. Over time, Quintus transformed his setback into a source of strength, becoming one of Rome's most formidable commanders. His story is a testament to the power of resilience, the ability to turn adversity into an opportunity for growth. Resilience is not just a quality for soldiers or leaders, it is a virtue that every individual must cultivate in their own life. Consider the challenges you face, the setbacks, the failures, the disappointments. It is easy to feel defeated, to give in to despair when things do not go as planned. But remember this, every setback is an opportunity in disguise. It is a chance to build mental toughness, to learn from your experiences, and to grow stronger. Think of a tree in the midst of a storm. The wind howls, the branches bend, and yet the tree remains standing. It is not because the tree is immune to the storm, but because its roots are deep and its foundation strong. In the same way, you must cultivate resilience by grounding yourself in your principles, values, and purpose. When adversity strikes, you must stand firm, knowing that the storm will pass, and you will emerge stronger on the other side. Resilience also requires a shift in perspective. Instead of viewing challenges as obstacles, see them as opportunities for growth. When faced with a difficult situation, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience make me stronger? By embracing this mindset, you turn adversity into a powerful tool for personal development. Consider the story of a craftsman working with metal. To create a strong and durable blade, the metal must be heated, hammered, and folded many times. Each strike of the hammer, each pass through the fire, strengthens the blade, making it more resilient. In the same way, the trials and challenges you face are the fires that forge your character. They are the hammers that shape you into a person of strength and resilience. As you move through life, remember that setbacks are not failures, they are opportunities to cultivate resilience. Do not shy away from challenges, but face them head-on, knowing that each one is a chance to grow stronger. When you encounter obstacles, remind yourself that you have the power to overcome them, to learn from them, and to use them as stepping stones to greater success. Let Marcus Aurelius' wisdom guide you in this practice. Life will inevitably bring trials, but with resilience, you can turn these trials into triumphs. By building mental toughness, you ensure that no setback can break you. Instead, each challenge you face will only serve to strengthen your resolve, sharpen your skills, and bring you closer to your goals. In the end, it is not the adversity itself that matters, but how you respond to it. Cultivate resilience, and you will find that no challenge is too great, no obstacle too daunting. With resilience, you can transform any setback into an opportunity for growth, and in doing so, you will achieve the greatness that lies within you. 6. Practice self-reflection. Regularly examine your thoughts, actions, and motivations to ensure they align with your values. In the journey of life, few practices are as essential to personal growth as self-reflection. It is through self-reflection that we gain clarity about who we are, what we believe in, and how our actions align with our values. Yet, in the busyness of daily life, it is easy to lose sight of this practice, to become consumed by external demands and distractions. But without regular self-reflection, we risk drifting through life without a true sense of direction or purpose. Allow me to share a story from my own life as emperor, a story that underscores the importance of self-reflection. During the early years of my reign, I found myself overwhelmed by the responsibilities of leading an empire. Every day brought new challenges, decisions to be made, conflicts to be resolved, and the constant pressure to maintain peace and order. I was consumed by the demands of my role, often making decisions based on expediency rather than deep consideration of my values. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, I retreated to my study, exhausted and troubled. I knew that something was amiss, that I was losing touch with the principles that had always guided me. In that moment, I realized the importance of self-reflection, of taking the time to examine my thoughts, actions, and motivations. I began a practice that would become central to my life. Each evening, I would sit quietly and reflect on the events of the day. I would ask myself, did I act in accordance with my values today? Did I make decisions that reflect my true beliefs? What could I have done differently? This practice of self-reflection allowed me to gain insight into my own mind and heart. I began to see where I had strayed from my values, where I had allowed external pressures to dictate my actions rather than staying true to my principles. Through self-reflection, I was able to correct my course, to realign my actions with my values, and to lead with greater wisdom and integrity. Self-reflection is not a passive activity, it is a deliberate and conscious practice that requires honesty and courage. It is easy to justify our actions, to convince ourselves that we are always in the right. But true self-reflection demands that we look at ourselves with clear eyes, acknowledging our flaws, our mistakes, and our missteps. It is only through this honest examination that we can grow and improve. Think of your life as a ship navigating the vast ocean. Without regular reflection, the ship can easily drift off course, carried away by the currents of external influences and distractions. But when you take the time to reflect, to check your position, you can adjust your course, ensuring that you remain on the path that aligns with your values and goals. Self-reflection also provides an opportunity to understand your motivations. Why do you make the choices you do? Are your actions driven by fear, by the desire for approval, or by a genuine commitment to your values? By examining your motivations, you can begin to understand the underlying forces that shape your behavior, allowing you to make more conscious and deliberate choices. Consider the example of a sculptor working on a piece of marble. The sculptor does not simply start chiseling away at the stone without a clear vision of what they want to create. Instead, they spend time reflecting on the form they wish to bring out, carefully considering each strike of the chisel. In the same way, self-reflection allows you to shape your life with intention, to carve out a path that is true to your values and purpose. As you practice self-reflection, remember that it is not about perfection. You will make mistakes, you will have moments of weakness, and there will be times when you fall short of your ideals. But through regular reflection, you can learn from these experiences, gaining wisdom and insight that will guide you forward. Self-reflection is also a powerful tool for self-awareness. It allows you to recognize patterns in your thoughts and behaviors, to identify areas where you may be stuck, and to develop a deeper understanding of yourself. This self-awareness is the foundation for personal growth, enabling you to make changes that are aligned with your true self. Incorporating self-reflection into your daily routine can be as simple as setting aside a few minutes each day to sit quietly and reflect. You might choose to write in a journal, noting the events of the day and your thoughts and feelings about them. Or you may prefer to meditate, allowing your mind to settle and your thoughts to surface. Whatever form it takes, the key is to make self-reflection a regular practice, a time to reconnect with yourself and ensure that you are living in alignment with your values. Let Marcus Aurelius' wisdom guide you in this practice. In the quiet moments of self-reflection, you will find the clarity and insight needed to navigate the complexities of life. You will gain a deeper understanding of yourself, your values, and your purpose. And in doing so, you will be able to live with greater integrity, wisdom, and fulfillment. Remember, life is a journey, and self-reflection is the compass that keeps you on course. By regularly examining your thoughts, actions, and motivations, you ensure that you are not merely drifting through life, but actively shaping it in accordance with your values. Through this practice, you will cultivate the wisdom and strength needed to live a life of true meaning and purpose. 7. Accept your mortality. Acknowledge the impermanence of life to live more fully and prioritize what truly matters. In the grand tapestry of existence, one truth remains constant: the impermanence of life. We are all bound by the passage of time, and our days are finite. To accept this reality is not to dwell in despair, but to embrace life with a renewed sense of purpose and urgency. By acknowledging our mortality, we can gain clarity about what truly matters, making choices that lead to a life well lived. Allow me to share with you a story from my own experiences, a story that highlights the transformative power of accepting our mortality. During a particularly tumultuous period of my reign, I was confronted with the fleeting nature of life in a most profound way. A trusted advisor, one whom I had considered a mentor and friend, fell gravely ill. Despite his wisdom and strength, he faced the end with a courage that was both humbling and instructive. One evening, as we sat together, he spoke to me with a clarity that came from knowing his time was short. "Emperor," he said, "I have lived a long life, and I have seen much. But in these final days, I find myself reflecting on the things that truly mattered. It is not the wealth I accumulated, nor the titles I held, but the moments I shared with loved ones, the impact I made on others, and the fulfillment of my purpose." His words resonated deeply with me. In that moment, I realized the importance of accepting our mortality as a means to live more fully. When we acknowledge that our time is limited, we are compelled to focus on what truly matters, to prioritize the relationships and endeavors that bring meaning and joy. Consider your own life. How often do you find yourself caught up in the trivialities and distractions of daily existence? It is easy to become absorbed in the pursuit of material success, to chase after transient pleasures, and to lose sight of what is truly important. Yet, when we confront the reality of our own mortality, we are given a gift, the gift of perspective. Reflect on the moments that have defined your life. Are they filled with the pursuit of superficial goals, or do they reflect a deeper sense of purpose? When you accept that your time is limited, you are encouraged to make choices that align with your core values and aspirations. You become more focused on nurturing meaningful relationships, pursuing passions that fulfill you, and making a positive impact on the world around you. Think of a sculptor working on a masterpiece. The sculptor knows that the time to shape the marble is limited, and so every stroke of the chisel is deliberate and purposeful. The awareness of the finite nature of their work drives them to invest their energy and creativity into each detail, ensuring that the final piece is a true reflection of their vision. In the same way, acknowledging your mortality compels you to use your time wisely, to focus on what truly matters, and to leave a lasting legacy. Accepting mortality also brings a sense of liberation. It frees you from the fear of failure and the pressure to conform to others' expectations. When you recognize that life is fleeting, you are more likely to take risks, to pursue your passions with vigor, and to live authentically. You are less concerned with accumulating accolades or material wealth and more focused on living a life of true significance. Consider the example of a person on their deathbed. As they look back on their life, it is unlikely that they regret not having worked more hours or acquired more possessions. Instead, they may reflect on the moments they spent with loved ones, the dreams they pursued, and the ways in which they made a difference. This perspective can guide you to prioritize what truly matters, to focus on the aspects of life that will bring you lasting joy and fulfillment. Incorporating the acceptance of mortality into your life does not mean dwelling on death or allowing it to overshadow your experiences. Rather, it means using the awareness of life's impermanence as a catalyst for living more fully. It encourages you to embrace each day with gratitude, to make conscious choices that align with your values, and to pursue a life that leaves a meaningful impact. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, the acceptance of our mortality is a powerful tool for living a life of purpose and authenticity. By acknowledging the fleeting nature of our time, we are reminded to live each moment with intention, to cherish the relationships that enrich our lives, and to pursue goals that reflect our deepest aspirations. Remember, life is a precious and limited gift. Accepting your mortality allows you to see beyond the superficial and focus on what truly matters. Embrace this truth, and you will find yourself living more fully, prioritizing the things that bring you joy and fulfillment, and leaving a lasting legacy that reflects the best of who you are. As we come to the end of our journey together, I hope you find yourself inspired and invigorated by the wisdom we've explored today. Life is a profound and intricate dance, one that requires us to be vigilant and purposeful in our choices. By embracing the lessons of self-control, resilience, self-reflection, and acceptance of our mortality, we equip ourselves to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. Remember, the path to a fulfilling and meaningful life is not always clear or easy. It is a continuous journey of growth and learning. Each step you take towards understanding yourself and living in alignment with your values brings you closer to a life of true contentment and achievement. Embrace change, focus on what you can control, act with purpose, and cultivate the resilience to overcome setbacks. Let the awareness of your mortality guide you to prioritize what truly matters and live each day with intention. If this video has resonated with you and provided you with insights that you find valuable, I invite you to join our community by subscribing to the Stoic Tube channel. By subscribing, you ensure that you won't miss out on future content designed to empower and inspire you on your journey of personal growth. Don't forget to like the video and share it with others who might benefit from these timeless Stoic principles. Your support helps us continue to create meaningful content that fosters self-improvement and wisdom. Thank you for watching, and remember, every moment is an opportunity to align your actions with your values and live a life of purpose. Stay steadfast on your journey, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.